Okay guys, so today I'm gonna answer the question from the Instagram user Alice's Rooftop, and he asked me a question on Instagram that I think I'm the perfect person to answer this question, which is how to deal with injuries in Jiu-Jitsu. And guys, I think I'm the perfect example because I have had so many injuries in my career that I don't even remember them very well anymore, because I have literally hurt all my body pretty much. And for example, just a few examples here that I'm gonna even put some pictures here so you guys can see. So for example, 3 days before the 2015 ADCC, I taught a seminar at Alliance HQ in Sao Paulo, and I broke my foot in the seminar, and I was out from the ADCC, which was a very sad episode on my career. And I have the picture here, so just so you guys can see. And I have had surgery on my both meniscus, on my both knees. I have had elbow surgery on my elbow where they removed a bunch of like loose pieces of bones inside my elbow. I have the picture here too. I have had like my wrist. I don't have the ligament here on my wrist. I think you guys can see the noise here. And so I torn my back. I have had a lot of injuries in Jiu-Jitsu. And I learned some very good things on these injuries. And that's what I want to share here with you guys. So guys, first I'm just going to separate these injuries in two different buckets. There are the injuries that you can still train Jiu-Jitsu. And you can still, like, for example, oh, you hurt your right knee, but you don't need surgery, it's just a little bit injured. You can train using more your left leg, or maybe like you hurt your shoulder a little bit and you can avoid using this shoulder. So there's this bucket of injuries, like the injuries that you can still train Jiu-Jitsu. And there's also the injuries that you cannot train Jiu-Jitsu. Let's imagine that you completely tore a ligament on your knee and you're gonna need to do a surgery and you can barely step with your foot, with your leg. You can't train. Or maybe you broke your foot, as I did. I could literally like stand up, or maybe like you hurt your ribs. There was one time I hurt my ribs, for example, competing against Bochecha, that I couldn't breathe. Like, was very hard to breathe. So I couldn't train Jiu-Jitsu for like a few weeks. So guys, what I learned is the injuries that you can still train Jiu-Jitsu, you should really try to prevent that area of your body. So again, oh, I hurt my wrist. Okay, so I'm gonna avoid using this hand when I'm rolling. Maybe I'm gonna place this hand inside my belt and I'm gonna train for lower belts and I'm gonna avoid using my hands. Maybe you hurt your feet, you hurt this finger, so avoid using those two fingers. Make grip like this. You can still train Jiu-Jitsu. Jiu-Jitsu is one of the only sports that you can adapt. So for example, if you play soccer and you hurt your foot, you can't play soccer. If you play basketball and your foot is bad injured or your knee, you might not be able to play basketball. But Jiu-Jitsu you can. So any part of your body that you hurt, there is a big chance that you can still train Jiu-Jitsu and not use that part of your body that much, prevent that part. So that's one bucket. And then there's the other bucket of injuries, right? The ones that you cannot train Jiu-Jitsu. Guys, when I had those injuries, what I tried to do was to do physical activities that was not Jiu-Jitsu, that I didn't need that to use that part of my body. So for example, when I hurt my pec, right, I couldn't train Jiu-Jitsu for a few weeks. I was doing bicycle, I was going to the gym and doing bicycle. Sometimes you hurt your knee, you can still go into the gym and work out your upper body, and you do things like that. So you can always adapt either on the mat or off the mat to make sure that you're not completely off. And then guys, another thing that I learned that was very important as well, and I really try to push this one really hard, is don't take breaks in Jiu-Jitsu. So many times life gets on the way. Maybe you do Jiu-Jitsu for a hobby, life gets on the way, your job gets on the way, family gets on the way. Or maybe you do Jiu-Jitsu profession and you feel motivated and you take a little break. Don't take breaks. And the reason why is sometimes you will be forced to take breaks. Sometimes you're gonna get a bad injury and you will be forced to be away for 2 or 3 months on training. So that was always my mentality when I was competing and when I was training professionally, because I would compete the World Championship, for example, take a few days break, like 2, 3 or 4 days, and come back to the mat. because I knew that at some point I would hurt something pretty bad that I would need to be few weeks away of the training. So why should you take a break when you are healthy if sometimes on your career you're gonna be forced to take breaks because you're not healthy, because you actually injured something? So when I was competing, those were kind of like my vacations, and like, oh, I hurt my ribs pretty bad and I cannot train for 4 weeks. What can I do? I can still do physiotherapy, I can still maybe work on my biceps, my legs, but I cannot train jiu-jitsu. So that's kind of like my break from jiu-jitsu, my vacation from jiu-jitsu. So I'm a big advocate on this, like don't take breaks just for the sake you're taking breaks, like I always try to be consistent. And another tip that I always give is like, I think in jiu-jitsu, consistency is one of the most important things. So for example, let's imagine that you do jiu-jitsu just like as a hobby, and life got on your way, or family got on your way, and it's been really hard for you to train 4 times per week as you normally train, or 3 times per week. Train once a week, but don't stop it. Train once a week. Or maybe train once every other week, but don't stop it. Most of the problems in jiu-jitsu, like motivation, your level going down, happens when you take a very long break, like when you stay away from jiu-jitsu for 6 months, like, and then when you come back, that guy that you used to train really well, now he's kicking your ass and things like that. So avoid taking breaks, and keep in mind that sometimes you're gonna be forced to take breaks because injuries. And that's the time that you should really take a break and try to do whatever you can off the mats. So guys, I think those are my main tips. I have injured my whole body, like fingers, shoulder, elbow, knees, neck. I deal with a lot of neck problems because of underpass and half guard, even nowadays. And I have literally heard everything you can imagine. And I learned all these lessons, and I think these lessons here that I share with you guys are definitely the most important lessons I learned. So that's why I wanted to share. And I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to make more videos like this for you guys. Thank you.